Amy with ResidentRockstar.com, and I'm here with Ben from Goatwhore. We're outside Summit Music Hall. They're on Summer Slaughter Tour. Let's talk a little bit about your new album, Constricting Rage of the Merciless. It came out on April 8th, correct?
No, July 8th.
July 8th. Oh, I fucked up.
recently, like right before Summer Slaughter started. So.
Yeah. July 8th. So what, like 15 days ago or something, approximately? Like not too long ago. So, how is it? How are the fans reacting to your album?
Actually, really good. Everything's been going really good with the new record. Right now on the Summer Slaughter thing, we only play for like 25 minutes because, of course, there's a lot of bands and everything, and you got to share time with everyone. So, we've been playing 4 new songs off the record in the set for Summer Slaughter. So, and before we hit Summer Slaughter, we were doing dates leading up to it to kind of get out to California where it started in San Francisco. And we were doing like 5 new songs from the record mixed with various other material from other records and stuff like that. So, but feedback and live setting has been fucking really awesome. And feedback, just reading things online, people's input at the shows afterwards, it's been really good, really good.
That's awesome. So you're mixing the new tracks from this album in with some of your favorite old tracks. What are some of those favorite old tracks that you're?
We got a few from the last record, Blood for the Master. Kind of like. An End to Nothing, When Stealing Bone Meat, Judgment of Bleeding Crown. And then from Carving Out the Eyes of God, we have Apocalyptic Havoc, The All Destroying. And then from Funeral Dirge, we have Baptizing Stormy Swords. Even though we're not playing all of that on this, because that would be well over 25 minutes.
Right.
But yeah, we have a little variation of things going on. Alchemy, the Black Sun Cult from the Haunting Curse, and I don't even remember the whole headline list now because we've been doing this now, and I only remember the 7 that we're doing for Summer Slaughter.
Right on. So tell me a little bit about the recording process for this album. Like, how did everything go down? What did it?
Well, we did everything on 2-inch analog this time, which is a rarity nowadays with bands. Everything's so
I didn't even know it
bent
existed
towards.
Still.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have some people that still have machines and. There's a company that makes tape, but the chemistry in the tape isn't that good. And so what we did was we got used tape, older tape, which could be questionable too. You never know if it's going to work out or not. But luckily enough, Eric Rutan has an old 2-inch machine. He had gotten from More Sound, which is legendary from back in the day for all the old, the whole Florida death metal eruption that happened and everything. All these bands were going to More Sound with Scott Burns to do stuff. So, that machine has some history and nostalgia to it. So, we have that machine and got some old tape and just started rolling with things, and everything went as planned pretty much.
And that's a pretty in-depth process. I mean, there's a lot of. It's like a little alchemy project, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it's just a little bit more. You definitely have to be on key when you get in there. Especially as far as a drummer goes. Because it's like. You got to play through the entire song. There's no like punch-ins and things like that. It's definitely like you have to be up to par with your skills and everything with playing. So, and you do have that. During the whole time of recording it to tape and everything, anything can go bad. The tape could tear, something could happen. The tape could just be faulty. So you kind of got a little monkey on your shoulders until everything from that's done onto tape is dropped into Pro Tools after that, and then you go through with the rest of it. So. There's little things like, and then tape's kind of expensive depending on, it could run anywhere $200-300 a reel, and you need like 4 reels to do it. So it's just all part of the thing. And I think that's the thing though nowadays is a lot of bands don't use it because one, the rarity of it, and because it's becoming more and more obsolete as time goes on. But also budgets. A lot of bands don't have budgets to do it. Sometimes we even go into our own pockets and fork up money to make sure our budget is a little bit better. Kind of assist the thing and stuff like that. So it all depends. It depends on what a band really wants and how their approach is, and we really wanted to do that with this record. What's crazy is everybody's so big on the vinyl thing again nowadays, and also people like bringing cassette tapes back too. It's like, well, why don't people start recording back to 2-inch? It goes hand in hand. If you're gonna have one, why not have the other?
Yeah, why aren't you doing it?
Yeah. Well, we all know because of money and the accessibility
exactly.
as well.
It's the same principle.
And a lot of new engineers like that are younger. They've never had experience with a tape machine, so it's definitely, you couldn't go to a newer engineer that had just got into the thing and he's all dedicated to the digital media. He wouldn't really have the knowledge behind the tape, so you definitely have to find somebody with the knowledge, and somebody with knowledge costs money as well. So
But it really does bring like a more nostalgic feel to the music. It sounds a little bit different. I mean, it's not.
Well, tape captures a little bit more like full, warm tone to it that digital hasn't yet kind of gotten to the level. So it's definitely unique, you know, to go ahead and still be able to do that and, you know, approach that situation for sure.
It really is a labor of love, and I think the sound really shows through, at least when you know the difference when you're listening.
Yeah, yeah. I like to, you know, I listen to a lot of old records and a lot of old things like that. I mean, everybody does. Even kids nowadays that are going back to like old Metallica records, old Exodus records. A lot of that stuff's done on 2-inch. You know, it's like it's that tone. You can crank that shit way loud. It won't get all fizzy and distorted sounding. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have a stereo in my vehicle that I like to turn up. I still have a large stereo at home that I like to turn up. I don't just listen to stuff on like headphones or like a laptop.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. Out of the digital age and back to where it came from. But that's good. I think it's good to go back to your roots, and it's kind of a lost art form. You want to keep that around, and you know, it's
yeah. I mean, I'm hoping that we will be able to do the next record in that. You know, depending. I mean, that'll be 2 or 3 years from now probably. So you never know what can happen. You know, and if the machine messes up along the way, or you know, the tape becomes really unavailable. But we'll see. You know, I mean, fingers crossed. We'd like to do it again for the next one.
I hope you get to. I think it makes a big difference, and I like to see people bringing that back and keeping those
and utilize somebody with knowledge of it.
Right.
Eric Rutan has knowledge of it because he's worked with it in his past. And so, you know, if he's there and he's available and we can do it and we've always worked with him, then might as well go forward with it.
Yeah, I agree. So how many shows do you have left on Summer Slaughter Tour?
Well, we're still at the early stage of it. We still got a good bit until like August 11th or somewhere like that. So we still got a good ways to go. This is like let's say we started in San Francisco. We did San Francisco, Santa Ana, LA, Phoenix, El Paso, Albuquerque, now here. So it's really.
And tomorrow you're in Texas?
Yeah, well we have an off day tomorrow to drive from here to Houston. So.
Right. And then they'll be playing in Texas. So yeah, it's pretty early in the tour, and it's been going good so far. I've seen a lot of good press. I've seen a lot of good interviews, and
yeah, it's been going really great, man. I can't complain. And you know what? This year, nothing against like past years with Summer Slaughter, and we did it 2 years ago, and it was really good. But this year, there's a lot of really fucking heavy bands on it. There are like a lot of really heavy, intense bands. You have Origin, Decrepit Birth, you know, The Artist Murder, Morbid Angel, Dying Fetus. Fallujah, you know, you have some fucking definitely heavy-hitting fucking bands that are in there.
Yeah, it's
you know, where in the past there was a little bit more diversity within it. They were all in metal in a certain variation, but it was really diverse. Where this is just like get your ass kicked each time a set happens, you know.
Yeah, there is a lot of heavy hitters on this tour, and there's 10 bands total. So I'm excited to see the mosh pits tonight. By the time you guys get on stage, it's going to be just
Let's hope they're not worn out.
No, not around here.
Well, I mean, we're in the middle somewhere, so, you know, I guess it'll be all right. So.
Yeah. So now as a part of the interview where I get to ask you like a bunch of stupid questions, like, let's see, would the ocean be deeper if there were no sponges?
I don't know, man.
The answer
I don't
is
think.
Yes.
You think so? It's true?
They're sponges.
I know, but I don't think they soak up that much. Come on. Okay, but if there was no sponges, then how much more land would be left?
That's a good question.
You see?
That's another good question.
Yeah.
He just answered my question with a question. Is that even allowed?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, we'll let you get away with that one.
Life. So if there were no sponges, I mean, Mile High City probably wouldn't be underwater, but Louisiana would probably be underwater.
For sure, dude.
Yeah. Anywhere that's below sea level would be underwater.
That's true. That's true. So I think we think the ocean would definitely be deeper if there were no sponges.
Yeah, and there'd be a lot of places that wouldn't exist anymore if there was no sponges.
That's true.
Yeah.
All hail the sponge.
So, okay, if you could not listen to metal, what kind of music would you listen to?
Oh, shit.
It's a hard one. It really is.
Probably classical. Because I listen to classical outside of this sometimes. Like, I like the structure with no vocals and stuff. I mean, even though there is some classical with vocal overlays and things like that they do. But I like classical prose without the vocals. It's more of like a background kind of soothing music. And it's really cool. I put it on like when I'm doing stuff. I even use it sometimes when I'm working on lyrics. because it like takes me away from it, and then it's music, so it has a flow to it, but it doesn't have vocals over it, so it gives me like kind of ideas, concepts, and then I can bring it back to the Goatwhore and lay it all out within that.
Some of that stuff is really complex too, so I mean, it's not like it's.
Oh yeah, well definitely.
It's really, some of it gets really intense. Let's see, what else can I ask you? What does AIDS flavored ice cream taste like?
I don't know. I don't want to try it either. I don't want to be a part of that situation.
That sounds bad. Let's see. Favorite metal album of all time from like your childhood?
You can't ask that question, man.
It's too hard. I know. It's
no,
really
I mean, yeah, there's so many fucking good records from when I was a kid, you know? That's like when people say, what's your favorite song to play? What's your favorite song, ever song for Goatwhore? What's your favorite metal band? You know, it's just like...
Okay, give me like top 5.
You can't answer those, you know? Because you know what? You have to look at it like this, and I guarantee you everybody has done this in their life. You listen to stuff, and there's a point when, yeah, you're really into this one band, but as time goes on, you really like the band still, but you listen to other things, and these other bands take your interest away as well. And so as you're going through, your influence kind of shifts because these different bands kind of pop up and they influence you in certain different variations. So each band has a meaning emotionally, whatever, on the way you heard them at that point in your life. So I think they all kind of have a full representation. So to pick one is so difficult, you know? I mean, I can go through and be like, you know, when I was this age, I was listening to Napalm Death, and it really piqued my interest in bands that were fast, you know, or this era I was listening to Dark Angel, Darkness Descends, because I was into the thrash metal thing, but I liked the darker angle that Dark Angel took within the approach. Or I was this age and I was listening to Slayer, Rain and Blood, because it was just, when it came out, it was such a huge impact to have a tape that was 30-something seconds, 30-something minutes long, and it was the same thing on both sides, and all you do is kept flipping it over and over and over again because you love the fucking thing, you know?
Yeah.
There's so many records. There was Metallica, Rod the Lightning, you know, that totally, when you heard it, you heard the guitar sound, and even though all their songs are like 5 minutes plus, you never felt like they were too long to listen to. You never got to a point where it was like, all right, fast forward. So, you know, there's so many different fucking examples out there that meant a lot, and they still mean a lot, you know, even within like all these bands and us, the influences and stuff, all these records mean so much.
It's true. The music really does mean a lot when you're growing up, and it influences you to become who you are today. So with that being said, what is the best advice you could give to like a new person starting out, or if you were starting out again, like what would you say is like a big thing to do?
I don't know. I mean, the only advice I can say is just, I mean, I think mistakes are the biggest thing for learning, you know? That's how I learned a lot out on the road. You make mistakes doing certain things, you know? And times change. From when I started touring to now, you know, the advancements of technology, you know, I started touring, we didn't have cell phones. We had maps that we brought with us, you know, an atlas.
Maps.
And, you know, we did that, and we had to pull off at an exit to call a promoter on a payphone and get directions and write them down, so we didn't have MapQuest and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm old, so...
but
I got to see, you know what, I'm really happy that I got to go through this advance. I look back and I go, holy shit, I can't believe we toured like that, because look at all the accessibility there is nowadays. You have the GPS, you have a phone that even has a GPS on it. You can look things up on it. You can find gas stations, you can find prices of gas stations along the fucking way even. You know, everything's just that much more easier, you know? So a lot of bands that are coming out today, it's like, holy shit, you got it. It's really good the way you have it now, man, because before it was so much of a, you know, it was this thing, but it's not that it was a struggle, it was just the times then.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you had to do, that's what it was. But the advice I give to people is just like, the only thing I'm gonna say is it's not an easy road, you know? It's definitely tough, and you're definitely gonna go through a lot of different things, and you, I mean, okay, you're a band, say there's 5 people in a band, that's 5 different emotions you deal with, 5 different individuals you deal with. You're gonna learn shit about people that you jam with that you never fucking knew about. And as you go along, you're going to have members that realize that this situation is not what they wanted to do. It's not what they wanted to be a part of. They didn't want to be on the road, stuck in a van, sleeping in a van every night, 100-something degree weather on tour, you know, during the summer. Some people just weren't into it. They didn't perceive it in a certain way, you know. So the only thing I can say is go into it with an open mind and learn to have like this balance between you and your other members and compromising and things like that, and work together. Because if you don't work together, that's just going to tear it completely fucking apart.
It's true.
So it is definitely a full-fledged thing. You know,
it's like a marriage.
What I tell people, we're like a metal band with like a punk DIY sense. because we do a lot of things internally, like do-it-yourself kind of
Yeah,
things.
yeah. You guys do a lot of your own stuff, and you know, I admire you for that. There's a lot of bands today that would give press, you know, a manager's number, and you go through 3 or 4 different managers. Not you guys. You know, we get this direct number, and we get in the van, and we go talk out in the parking lot, and it's just, I mean, it is just you guys. You do what you do, and you do it really well. So, you know, you've been doing it a long time, and you should be really proud of yourself. We think you kick ass, and that's, you know.
No more sponge questions?
No more sponges. I don't have any more ocean questions.
All right, okay. Just making sure.
Next time I'll have something to stump you.
Okay, good.
But yeah, this has been an interview with Ben from Goatwhore. Check him out on Summer Slaughter Tour. This has been an interview on ResidentRockstar.com.